For the production of Phone Booth, the large cast and crew worked tirelessly to craft a highly unusual film. Unlike most Hollywood features, which can take up to 6 months to complete, Phone Booth was shot in only 10 days. Veteran director Joel Schumacher, who's been making movies for almost 30 years, has never experienced anything like Phone Booth.
The story of Phone Booth is literally a phone rings and a voice says,
"If you hang up, I will kill you."
And for the next 80 minutes, Collin Farrell is held captive in this booth
by a sniper who's got a telescopic rifle pointed at him and won't let him hang up the phone.
The caller believes that he has the right to decide who has personal integrity on the planet.
I actually appreciated his point of view. He's someone who is kind of fed up with society and what is allowed to transpire in relationships between people, and he picks a person and decides to try and teach them a lesson about integrity, about values, and about honesty. And he just does it in a rather unorthodox, aggressive way.
Stu Shepard is a wise ass. You know, he's a real scam artist. He's
a young man who's placed far too much importance on the unimportant things in life. He's a publicist, very full of himself, he's very cocky, he's quite smart, but he's kind of just deals in lies and untruths every day. He's full of shit. He's one of the bad ones.
Well, you better be nice to me while I'm still on the way up and taking your calls.
Collin can play anything. He can do comedy, he can do tragedy, he can be the bad guy, he can be the good guy. It's a tour de force for Collin Farrell. I mean, he's on almost every second of the movie and did a phenomenal job, and we're very proud of him. Even though it's about Collin's journey in the phone booth, it's an ensemble piece in the sense that this involves many other people. Of course, Kiefer, most importantly, who is the person holding him hostage. Radha Mitchell plays Collin's wife. She's a very beautiful, talented actress from Australia. Forrest Whitaker is one of my favorite actors. I was so thrilled that he said yes. Richard T. Jones plays his right arm in this, another great actor. And Katie Holmes. I think almost everybody in the world probably knows who Katie Holmes is at this point. The exotic dancers from across the street, Leon the bouncer, the pizza man. There's a cast of characters in this movie besides the caller and Collin.
Kelly Shepard is Stu's wife. And, you know, she's the doting wife who's in love with him and would never suspect that he has this double life.
I play Pam, and she's an aspiring young actress in New York City from Montana, a little naive, and she is being represented by Stu, and she kind of gets caught up in the drama because he's interested in more than just her career.
He hasn't told the girl that he wants to bang that he has a wife, and he hasn't told his wife that he has a girl that he wants to bang. Stu Shepard is a prick. He doesn't even see what his lies are doing. He wears blinkers, he lives in a world of his own, and he gets brought back down to life by someone who's very horrible, and someone who also intends to make Stu a better man, and by the end of the film...
I'm always trying to look for something that's fresh and unique and original, and I'd never seen a movie that was all in a phone booth.
Right in the middle of a city with thousands of people around you, cars, traffic, buses, police cars, and you can't get out. You're sealed in like a glass coffin, right in the middle of Times Square or somewhere.
I thought it was not only a great idea for a movie, but I thought it would be extraordinarily challenging. We have a 10-day shooting schedule, and of all the insane things I've ever done in my life, this will certainly be the most insane. But as you can see, we have a hardy casting crew that's willing to do this with me, other insane people.
It's been some trip for everyone, for the whole crew. Every single person on the crew and on the cast. I mean, it's been just a mad, mad journey.
Doing a movie in 2 weeks, it sounds like a challenge, and it was just unusual. And so,
in Joel's case, we were able to have, I think, one of the best directors to be able to do that. He understands every facet of movie making. He's not just an actor's director, which he is. He understands lighting, he understands design.
He's just incredibly confident and knows what he wants and isn't trying to prove anything. He's just sort of out there doing it.
He sets a construct for a picture, like Tigerland and this film, about the mood of his character, of the point of the story. And for us, it allows us to improvise a little bit when we get there.
He understands the script, and so we were able to shoot 12 pages a day. And to get all of the integral parts of it, we had to set up a schedule that we shot in continuity, and allowed the actors to get into their parts and really capture the moment.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Ma'am, you can't cross in front of here.
Keep
back, folks.
Is there somebody I can talk to? This is my husband.
When you're shooting it in continuity, you don't have to worry about where the glass should be shattered, where if there's any blood in this part of the scene. You don't have to worry about matching something that you haven't shot yet. And that may seem strange to a viewer, but you know, sometimes you're shooting the exterior of a building after the people have run out, but you haven't gone to the studio to do the scene on the set of what's going to happen in that apartment. And so you're thinking, well, would the clothes be torn? Would this? Whereas if you're doing it in continuity, it evolves as you go along. Besides the speaking roles, we have great Hollywood extras that are part of the whole street scene.
They have to be here every day, they have to repeat things, and they have to grow with emotion to an incident that they're seeing in a 3-hour period.
What was interesting shooting in continuity is none of them had read the script, and when they came to work each day, they didn't know how the story was going to turn out.
And they're like dying to know what happens next, because they've never been in a movie where they watch it from start to finish.
So a lot of their reactions are very pure, because they don't know from moment to moment what is going to happen inside and outside that booth. So that was very exciting.
Every extra has a character, which is in any movie that I like to do. It's like, are you a businessman? Are you a shopper? Are you a homeless person? Are you another one of the strippers? And they just have to fit into that group.
My name is Steve Johnson. I'm the second assistant director here on Phone Booth. My primary responsibility on this show is making sure all of the extras are set. So I set the extras to the cameras and give them actions that they'll be doing and try and make it look real.
You'll take your timing off them, and then they'll take their timing off you, so it'll all look wonderful. Right? Cool.
Every morning I give a big speech at 7 a.m. before we start, and I talk to everybody. I say the same thing all the time, you know.
It's all real time. Most of it occurs in a phone booth, which is down here on 5th Street. You'll see that when you get to set. So as usual, we're starting off today where we left off yesterday.
Shooting in sequence makes it a lot easier because you can just tell people from the night before, just go where you were last night. And that's where you'll start from today.
Count to 5, and then walk down, and then I want you to cross the street like you did before. Okay. Do it like this.
We're on 5th Street in Los Angeles, which is supposed to be 53rd Street in New York. And we were on 6th Street only yesterday, but then the diamond merchants who work there didn't want us.
The ripple effect of us being here was quite extensive.
And we were asked to very quickly move to this street.
After having completely prepped the next street over.
Which in the end was another happy accident because we were able to do a lot more with this street. And it was just a mad dash. We had 4 days to prep the movie, so my art director and I basically slept 6 hours apiece over the course of 4 days. And we're down here 24 hours a day from the Wednesday before shooting until Sunday morning when the last drop of paint dried. Pretty much just as everybody was walking on the set.
We had cranes going up to the tops of these buildings.
We had a 38-man crew running 12, 14 hours for 3 days.
A lot of people came together in a very short period of time and facilitated us being able to shoot today.
So this shows you what a movie crew can do. But all this stuff you're seeing, all these neon signs, all of this was put up by our crew. It doesn't really look like this. The magic of movies. We needed the flavor of a real city, and I think a lot of the credit for that goes to Andrew Laws, who's our production designer, because I think he managed to make 5th Street in downtown LA really look like New York. Today we have to shoot all the way up to a certain section. It's about 11 or 12 pages. The average TV show does about 8 pages.
We're moving so fast, everything has to be here and ready at a moment's notice. We can't wait. If we wait for 15 minutes every hour for a setup, after 10 hours, that's a day's worth of shooting. While it's only a 10-day shoot, it's still a 120-page script.
The other thing is, at 4 o'clock, we're out of light because it's winter time.
So what we have to do is use the light we get and then create the darkness underneath that simulates that soft top light that you see in Europe and in New York and cities much older with higher buildings and bigger skylines. The thing about New York when you're trying to emulate it is a lot of light is bouncing around the tops of buildings. And you're really in dark caverns when you're shooting on the street. So, you know, that's the thing we need to create. And we just evaluated this space architecturally and figured out where the sun was going to fall. in combination with putting lights up on buildings just to simulate daylight backlights and reflections that we wanted when we put up these bounces, primarily because we knew the sun was going to hit it for the majority of the day and we could make use of that light.
We're talking about ways to basically control the lighting here and keep it similar, because we're trying to make it all look like one afternoon over the course of 10 days.
We want to try and build this rig that can give us light and not be there at all.
They had asked if the stuff could retract back, and when they wanted to do another shot, they wanted to see a clean building and how long would it take. And when I said, well, we could probably make some type of retractable system, of course, if the money was there. Well, fortunately, the money was there, and we got to do the system that we designed.
We had a day and a half to really design it and get guys up here on the roof build it.
We came up with the double motor system, which is here, which is on 2 trusses. So when it comes down in its one position, you have a white side, then raise one truss, drop the other truss, and change the color so he has a black to that side.
The white side was to provide light.
Basically, catch the sun and shoot it down into the area here between the 2 streets.
And the black side was to kill reflections.
And the lighting sources on either end of the building work as backlights, which bring the feel of like a hard sunlight into the area.
If you look around the rigging here, the way we've rigged the street for lighting is just, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's ever been done before.
We're fighting the light, and we're going to actually try to do this in 10 days. So we'll keep you posted.
After the initial shock of realizing they wanted to shoot this thing in 10 days, my job was to figure out how we could do it. I'm actually the person that articulates the director's vision and the person that executes it. So in preparation, trying to get the sense of what the director wants to accomplish, and gets to the execution phase, which is production, and accomplishes it.
Normally, this would have been a 40-day film.
But in this instance, we have 4 cameras on almost every shot.
If you take a 10-day schedule and you take 4 cameras and you multiply it, it's 40 days.
It's great for the director. It's very difficult on the cinematographer because the quality control of the lighting on each person is much more difficult when you have many cameras going. But Matty Libatique, our great cinematographer, is a genius.
Sometimes when you see 3 or 4 pieces of track down and 4 cameras, then it's really giving us options to pick up different points of the story. We're doing 8, 9, 10-minute takes, which is taking up 1,000-foot rolls of film, and we just want to be in the right position for that part of the narrative, so it gives us that flexibility.
So I have to write down what each camera is shooting. I have to keep track of what dialogue the actors are saying.
So many bleeding lines. So that's why I was pacing up and down all the time, just trying to stay focused. I ended up smoking 60, 80 cigarettes a day and drinking a good bit of coffee on this. I don't know if that kept me energy up.
Collin's been amazing. I mean, he's been able to take 5 to 10-minute takes and keep them completely riveting.
Today, we're going to try to do everything from the moment at which the hookers, our resident hookers, come out of the strip club, to when they get so angry at Stu that they go get the boss to come out and beat on the phone booth, which we'll start the day with tomorrow. 3, 2, 1, back around, and action.
Now, why would a man who has a cell phone call you every day from a phone booth?
He said it's quiet.
Pam, that's just stupid. It's because his wife checks his cell phone bills. No record of his calls to you.
He said he wasn't married.
Oh, he's married. Her name is Kelly. I've never seen her, but she sounds lovely. Why do you think he invites you to the city hotel? Cheap rooms for cheap girls.
You fucking asshole.
He's telling you all this so you'll sleep with him.
I know that. I may be from Montana, but we have men there also. I wasn't planning to sleep with him. I just don't know a lot of people here yet. Stu's cute, and he said he would help me. Look, I will. Pam, you never asked me if I was